not all awards are created the same. It matters how competitive they are, how many people could participate to get selected, who was choosing it, what's the criteria. So how do we know which ones are eligible for extraordinary ability visas?
In terms of awards, USCIS is very specific about the evidence you need to present. They want to know how many people apply, who applied, how many were selected, who were the judges, what was the judges' qualifications, and whether the award was covered by media. And then if you're a startup and you raised about $100,000, we can use that for for awards if you're applying for an O-1. In order to use the funding for EB1, it has to be at least at around $1 million. It can be slightly less, slightly more, but that's usually what has worked.
So VC funding is an acceptable way?
It is an acceptable way. You just have to be careful. Obviously, if you're applying for EB1 and you raised about $50,000, that's not going to work.
And what about, of course, for the founders, you can use that. What's the limit, right? Because there's the team members, the founders, then there's the co-founders or the co-founding team. So when are you able to use this as an award?
Yeah, so the rule of thumb is usually we can use it for the founder and the co-founder. So if you have 10% of the company, we can use the VC funding for an award. Now, if you're the founding engineer or the founding team members, unfortunately, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Okay, that's perfect. So. What about student awards? What happens with that? Maybe you had a very, prestigious competition at a very prestigious university.
Right. So student awards are generally not acceptable for EB1 and for O1. All awards needs to be on a professional level. USCIS does not like scholarships. They don't usually with fellowships is also pretty tricky. So anything academic is usually not good evidence for the awards criteria.
What about if you wrote a paper and you got the best paper of the conference type of thing?
Yeah, that would work. It also gonna depend on how prestigious that conference is, how many people submitted papers. Basically, were you selected 1 out of 1,000 or 1 out of 10? That would make a huge difference.
Yeah. Do they need to be international awards, or if they are national in scope, that can work as well?
They can be either national or international, meaning that the award needs to be open to everybody in the field. So it can be limited in scope. Sometimes people come and say, well, I won, 30 under 30, like Forbes 30 under 30. Or I won the, women in tech, I won the first prize for, whatever competition. In both scenarios, we have to be careful because there's limitation, one on age and the other one is on gender. And I have seen pushback from USCIS, not all the time, but they, if it's the age limitation, they would say, well, what about the people above 30 didn't have the chance to compete with you. I'm not saying I agree with that argument, but these are some of the things that are coming out of USCIS.
I mean, it might still work.
It might still work.
It depends on the officer you get, and you just need to know that sometimes.
Correct. Yeah.
So remember, when you're going for awards in the Extraordinary Ability Visas, it's not just about getting an award, it's about the entire context. How many people were eligible? How many people applied? How was the selection criteria? Who were the judges? So just tell the entire picture.